Welcome to Decoded Daily, brought to you by Idea Data. Today we're diving deep into the future of work.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, how tech leadership is changing. And
We've got some really fascinating examples from around the world, too.
yeah, we're going to look at what's going on in Canada with AI. And let's jump right into some big questions, like what happens if Trump gets back in the White House? Will that shake things up in Silicon Valley?
Good question.
Is the tech industry, finally making some progress on diversity? And maybe the most important question for you listening, how can you stay ahead of the curve as AI just transforms, like every industry? Before we get started, though, I want to tell you about Idea Data. If you're interested in staying ahead of the curve in AI and tech, Idea Data's newsletter is, like, the perfect resource. It helps you get smarter on AI, tech, and new markets. They've got thousands of professionals from Fortune 500 companies like IBM, MetLife, Amazon, and more, all subscribed. The link is in the show notes. Okay, let's start with politics. There's this Fortune article we found that predicts Trump gets reelected. It could have a massive impact on big tech, especially for AI and the chip industry. What do you think?
Well, I think, his second Trump presidency could really change things up, especially in terms of policies. Remember how in his first term, he put tariffs on Chinese goods? That really hit companies like Apple hard. So imagine that, but, on an even bigger scale. This article suggests we might see stricter rules for Chinese tech companies, maybe even preventing them from doing business or investing in the U.S.
Like an America First 2.0.
Exactly. And that could be a big deal, especially when it comes to AI. The U.S. and China are like the leaders in AI development.
Yeah.
And more tension between them could make it harder for them to collaborate. So we might see slower progress in things like, facial recognition and self-driving cars, where China is really pushing the boundaries.
And the article also mentions the chip industry, which is already dealing with all those shortages.
Oh.
More restrictions would definitely make things worse and probably drive up prices for everyone.
It's true. I think it all comes down to how much the government should be involved in regulating big tech, There are valid arguments on both sides. Some people say we need regulations to protect data privacy and stop monopolies, but others worry that too much government interference could stifle innovation and hurt the economy.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It is. So speaking of complex issues, this built-in article really digs into diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, in tech. And it says that just having women in leadership roles isn't enough.
Right, it's not just about appearances.
And the stats are pretty eye-opening. This article says only 14% of tech leaders are women.
Wow.
That's pretty shocking. And that's just one aspect of diversity. We need more representation everywhere, from entry-level positions all the way up to the C-suite and across, you name it.
It's true, and we're missing out on so much potential if we don't do that.
Absolutely. So what can companies and, even individuals do to actually make a difference?
Well, I think things like mentorship and sponsorship programs are a great start. They can help people from underrepresented backgrounds build their networks, learn important skills, and navigate the corporate world.
Those are good ideas. And as individuals, I think we can all try to be allies, like speaking up when we see bias, supporting colleagues from underrepresented groups, and pushing for inclusive policies.
It all adds up.
It does. So let's move on to what's happening in Canada. We have articles from Morningstar and the Financial Post that talk about how Canadian tech leaders are joining forces to make sure Canada has a place in the global AI race. What's behind this push?
I think there's a real sense of urgency and collaboration, Canada is hosting a big AI summit, bringing together leaders from businesses, universities, and the government to come up with strategies for strengthening Canada's AI capabilities.
Sounds like a big deal.
Yeah, they're going all out, panels, keynote speakers, workshops, the work.
Wow. Do you think Canada actually has what it takes to become a major AI hub, like, on the level of the US and China?
Canada's got some serious advantages. They've got a strong base in AI research, thanks to places like the University of Toronto and the University of Montreal. And they've got a really skilled workforce, plus they're attracting top tech talent from all over.
And the government's been putting money into AI research and development too, right?
Right. They see AI as crucial for future economic growth and want to be a global leader in this space.
So Canada could really be a contender in the AI world. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it definitely has the potential.
It does. And, this focus on AI has big implications for all of us. This HR executive article we found says that making AI upskilling a priority is key for keeping employees happy and engaged.
Interesting.
So basically, companies need to offer AI training if they don't want their employees to leave for better opportunities.
In a way, but it's more than that. It's about the fact that the need for AI skills is skyrocketing in basically every industry. Companies are scrambling to find people who can build, use, and manage AI systems.
Right.
And if you have those skills, you're going to be in high demand. So companies that offer AI upskilling, they're showing their employees that they're invested in their growth and want to help them stay ahead of the game.
Makes sense. It shows they're willing to invest in their employees' future, not just, the company's bottom line.
Exactly. The article even lists some of the most sought-after AI jobs, things like data scientist, machine learning engineer, AI ethicist. It's a field that's growing like crazy, with a ton of opportunities.
So speaking of crazy tech, this last article from Reagan Communications talks about how EY, the giant accounting and consulting firm, is using AI and the metaverse to completely change how they recruit and onboard new employees.
Yeah, they're really pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Imagine going to a virtual career fair in the metaverse, where you can actually interact with recruiters and other potential employees in a 3D world. EY has actually built a virtual space called the EY Metaverse Lab. Candidates can go there to check out different career paths, learn about the company culture, and even take part in work simulations.
That's incredible. What are the benefits of using the metaverse for recruiting?
Well, first off, it allows companies to reach a much wider pool of candidates, no matter where they are in the world. It also makes the whole process a lot more interactive and engaging,
Makes sense.
which can really help attract top talent. And for the candidates, it gives them a more realistic preview of what it would be like to actually work at the company.
So they can experience the culture, meet people they might be working with, and even try out different roles, all without any real-world risk.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation.
That's fascinating. Looking at this whole AI upskilling thing, you know what it means for your future.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that AI is changing, like every industry out there. And the need for people with AI skills is only going to get bigger.
It's kind of crazy to think about, right? It's not just tech companies anymore. AI is changing everything.
Oh, yeah.
Healthcare, finance, marketing, even manufacturing.
Like you said, it's everywhere.
So basically, everyone needs at least some understanding of AI if they want to stay ahead.
That's exactly right. It's not really a question of if AI will change your job. It's more like when and how. And that's where this whole upskilling thing comes in. It's about giving yourself the skills you need, to not just survive, but really thrive in this new world.
So for someone who's like, whoa, this is a lot, what are some practical things they can do to get started with AI upskilling?
Well, the good news is there are so many resources out there, more than ever before.
Online platforms like Coursera, ADX, Udacity, they all offer a ton of AI courses, from beginner to super advanced.
And a lot of them are free, or at least pretty affordable, right?
Yeah, which makes it even easier to get started.
Totally. And it's not just about those formal courses either.
Right.
You can find a ton of stuff online for free, like articles, tutorials, videos, all kinds of things to help you dip your toes into the AI world.
Oh, yeah.
There are even great YouTube channels and podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
Like Decoded Daily.
Of course.
That can break down these complicated AI concepts into, easier to understand pieces.
It's all about finding what works best for you, your learning style, and your career goals.
Right.
Start by figuring out which AI skills are most in demand in your field and go from there.
Makes sense. What about people who might be a little intimidated by AI? I mean, it can seem pretty technical. You need a computer science degree just to understand the basics.
I get it. It can definitely be overwhelming at first.
Yeah. But you don't have to become a data scientist overnight. Just start with the basics, learn about the different types of AI, what they're used for, how they're changing your industry.
It's like anything new, right? It's got to start somewhere. And sometimes people get so focused on the technical stuff that they miss the bigger picture.
True.
It's important to understand why AI is so important, what problems it can solve, and the opportunities it creates.
Absolutely.
Right.
Someone in marketing, for example, might want to learn how AI can personalize customer experiences or automate campaigns.
While someone in healthcare might focus on AI for medical diagnoses.
Yeah, exactly.
Or drug discovery, stuff like that.
The key is to understand how AI is already shaping your field, and then figure out which skills you need to use AI to your advantage.
It's not just about technical skills, though, right? AI is also changing the way we work and the types of soft skills that are important.
Oh, that's a really important point.
Yeah.
Things like critical thinking, problem solving, communication, collaboration, those are all becoming even more essential as AI takes over more of the routine tasks.
Because, when AI is doing all the repetitive work,
Yeah.
that frees us up to focus on higher level thinking and being creative, right?
Exactly.
Totally agree. But this isn't all on the individual, is it? Companies have a responsibility here too, right?
You're absolutely right.
To support their employees in this upskilling journey.
They need to build a culture of continuous learning, and give their people the resources and support they need to learn about AI.
So maybe that means offering in-house training programs, sending people to conferences, partnering with universities or online learning platforms.
It's not enough to just give people access to training, though.
Right.
They also need to be able to actually apply what they learn, on real projects.
It's like you can read all the books and watch all the videos you want, but the real learning happens when you put it into practice.
Right. So if you're an employer, give your employees the space and resources to explore how AI can improve processes, create new products, maybe even disrupt entire industries.
But embracing AI's potential, right?
Exactly.
And empowering your employees to be a part of that.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Honestly, companies that don't invest in AI upskilling are gonna fall behind.
It's not a luxury anymore. It's a necessity.
Yeah.
If you want to succeed in this rapidly changing world, you have to embrace AI and make sure your people do too.
I think one thing is clear. This pace of change, it's not slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah.
The skills that are in demand today, they might be obsolete tomorrow. So you really have to embrace this idea of lifelong learning. Always be upskilling, reskilling.
Right. The days of, getting one degree and just coasting through your career, those are long gone.
Yeah.
You need to be adaptable, agile, willing to constantly learn new things.
And remember, learning isn't just about, formal education or online courses. It's also about seeking out new experiences, connecting with people in your field, staying curious.
I love that. So read industry publications, go to conferences, join online communities, all that stuff.
Exactly. The more you expose yourself to new ideas and perspectives, the better prepared you'll be for whatever's coming next.
And don't be afraid to experiment, right?
Oh, yeah.
Try out new tools, different approaches. Don't let the fear of failure hold you back. It's about having that growth mindset.
Right. Exactly. Couldn't agree more.
And that wraps up our deep dive into tech leadership, AI, and the future of work. We hope you found it insightful, thought-provoking,
and maybe even a little inspiring.
Want to stay ahead in AI and tech? Try Idea Data. Join thousands of professionals in AI, tech, and business from Fortune 500 companies like IBM, MetLife, Amazon, and more. Get smarter on AI, tech, and new markets with our newsletter. The link is in the show notes.